talk about the Monday night game. Chiefs 30, Raiders 29. And this game, the Chiefs came out to a slow, groggy start. They got down 17-0 right out of the gate. The Raiders were clicking on all cylinders. Then Chiefs go down, score. Travis Kelce scored one of his 4 touchdowns, which got me a win in fantasy. So thank you, Travis. But the game felt like it flipped on a horrible roughing the passer call on Chris Jones, where he sacked and took the ball away from Derek Carr. And that seemed to get the crowd back into it. The team started playing at a whole other level and just brought a whole new sense of juice. They just started playing with a little more fire, a little more excitement. And so, Grant, are you willing to give these officials an apology? Because that changed the game and that fired them up and got them playing well. So I think you, as a Chiefs fan, Grant, you need to give the refs in this game an apology.
Absolutely not.
Come on.
Not a chance. That official should not be allowed to go back to Kansas City ever again, because that was so egregious. How can you rough the passer when you have the ball?
He's the offensive player.
Yeah, you can't land on him. He did not give him a pillow, a blanket, and a teddy bear and lay him down like he should have.
In the words of, can we take the dresses off and play football?
Whoa, that is very misogynist of you, Grant. We don't allow that on this podcast.
Now you're talking.
We believe in that.
And I'm sick of it.
It definitely changed the course of the game, I think, because I think the Raiders got a field goal, and then that somehow it just got the Chiefs offense clicking again. And
also, you're forgetting this, guys. Last year was 2 absolutely embarrassments that the 2 games in Oakland had against Kansas City last year. Last year, the game in Kansas City, it was 48-9. That's a college game when Alabama's playing Vanderbilt. And then the game in Vegas, I think the Chiefs won like 45-17. So coming into that game, like Ethan said earlier tonight, the talent difference in this league is not big. You get embarrassed twice against this team. You're telling me the Raiders aren't going to come out with a little extra juice? And then, you want to bring the pain right away, which they did. I mean, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones got after it right away. When the Chiefs couldn't block those dudes, that was a long day for that offense. So the Raiders, they came out ready to play, and they were pissed. And then, you're absolutely right, Dylan. That got those fans back into it because that call was so egregious. And at the time, it was 17-7. The Chiefs are thinking, hey, we'll get the ball back, get a touchdown, make it, 17-14. Let's do this. Well, you call the roughing the passer, the Raiders get the ball back. They kick that field goal. It's 20-7. And then it's like, oh boy, is this game almost getting out of hand? But then, the Chiefs, they go down, they get that field goal before half. And then, the part was they scored right away coming out of the second. They didn't do what they did.
Middle 8.
Yes. They didn't do what they did last year against Cincinnati in that playoff game that they talk about. You let the Bengals score on that long, 3rd and 25 screenplay, the Tyreek Hill debacle, 3 and out to start the second half. They didn't let that happen. Like you said, they won the middle 8. They came out with some juice, and then they protected Patrick. When they were able to slow down Max and Chandler, Patrick had all the time in the world and could figure out this Raiders defense, and then that's when they could just go up and down the field, as they choose.
Yeah, well, and the Raiders, they might be the best 1-4 team in the history of the NFL.
Well, their losses are by 6 points or less?
They're in every game. I think it's just one of those things with a new head coach. Sometimes you got to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. They're losing these close games. They'll eventually turn into wins. I think Josh McDaniels is a good coach. I think he's learning that he doesn't have Bill Belichick by his side that can help him. Because when they scored to make it 30-29, I didn't hate them going for 2 because there was only 3.5 minutes left in the game. And I think Josh's thinking here was, If we don't get it, they're going to go a little bit more conservative, which they aren't as good at as when they are full go, go, go. And we could be able to get a stop and get the ball back and have a shot. And that's exactly what happened. It's just the Kansas City pass rush got to Derek Carr, and then they received Adams and Renfro decided to run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up losing. And I thought that fourth down play call was horrible. I don't think that's a spot where you can go under center here, especially or at least spread them out, go out a shotgun and let Josh Jacobs get it, who was unstoppable in that game.
And that's what I was going to say is you have a 3rd and 1. You've been running the ball all game, and you decide to go away from that with a minute and 40 to play. That didn't make any sense. And to me, that almost just goes by head coach trying to be too aggressive, saying, hey, we have a receiver who's making $29.3 million a year, or whatever Devontae's making. We got to get him the ball right now and a chance to win this game. Give it to your bell cow of a back. Like you said, because Jacobs was having a night, that interior offensive line was moving people. You're telling me you can't get a yard in 2 plays when Frank Clark left the game at half with an illness. And then one of the other starting defensive tackles, he left the game with a hamstring injury. So the Chiefs defensive line was down 2 starters. You're telling me you can't power to get 3 feet on 2 plays? I mean, come on, Josh. Just keep it back to the basics and do what you've been doing well all night, getting that shotgun formation and just having Josh run right up the middle.
Yeah. And well, I think the Raiders, they're going to find a way to make it back into this chase, because the West is not the Chiefs, and we all said it on this podcast, the Chiefs are going to run away with this division. There might be 3 other playoff teams, but right now it's not looking at it. They'll be lucky to get 2 at this point, because I don't trust Brandon Staley and the Chargers. He had another bonehead coaching decision by going for it on 4th and 2. And then the Broncos, Nathaniel can't hack it is coaching. Russell Wilson is hurt, and he looks like a shell of himself. And then the Raiders are 1-4 right now. So the Chiefs will have this locked up by the end of November. They'll clinch it on Thanksgiving weekend, but they have a big one this week, and we'll get to that in a little bit.